Alright, it is time to rank another soundtrack, and this time I'm going to be doing Heavy Shreddin on the NES. As usual, I'm just doing the stage themes, no title screen, no ending. There's not a lot of music on the soundtrack other than that as far as anything in long form, so yeah, it's just the 5 different themes that play during specific segments of a given course. I'll preface this like I always do by saying that this list is just strictly my opinion. It's subjective as all hell. Feel free to disagree or agree. Leave your opinion in the comment section if you feel, as long as you respect everybody else's opinions and mine, and I'll do the same, of course. I encourage discussion and debate. So, without any further ado, let's get on with the list. Number 5, Slalom. There's a rest right in the beginning that made me think something was wrong with the soundtrack. It's an odd place for a start and stop like that, but I'm a fan of surprises and unpredictability, so I'm not complaining. I'm also not complaining that this song doesn't share the exact same rhythm section that 3 of the 5 songs on the list do. But even with that, this one's pretty dull overall. It just feels like it's revving up the whole time, but never actually gets started. In fact, those clicking percussion noises sound like an actual engine that's struggling. Number 4, Half Pipe. This is the first song on the list with the recurring rhythm sections where the bass does this thing playing mostly the same note over every step in the drum pattern. It's not exactly the same as in the other songs, but it's more than close enough to notice. The drum fills have these what sounds like big clunky paint buckets playing in place of toms. It's pretty cool, kind of like the sound you'd get from a street performer, but it's oddly placed right in the same kit that's deliberately trying to sound electronic and processed. It's a nice tempo, something that'll keep your head bopping, but no memorable sections or anything, just decent background material. Number 3, Downhill. Unlike the slalom, the downhill manages to change up the pace, as well as change up the beat and bass lines of the rhythm sections entirely. In fact, the drumming has some interesting odd-time fills with those paint buckets again. The melody is very simple throughout most of it, sometimes bordering on monotone, but the bass and drums do enough to at least keep this from getting boring. Number 2, Moguls. We're back to that recurring rhythm section again, and much like the half pipe, this one has some good energy, and the lead melody riffs fit well with the beat, and there's a variety of different notes, sometimes even within the same measure. So there's some dynamics here. The riffs are simple, but they're catchy enough, and there's a cool little sequence right at the end of the loop where the notes descend. And number 1, Backwood. This is the mid-tempo song with the same beat we've been hearing through 60% of the soundtrack. But while the rhythm section is doing nothing to stand out amongst the rest of the soundtrack, the melody carries this song the rest of the way with a variety of riffs that go off in different directions, almost never repeating throughout. And there's a couple bits where it almost goes off into solo territory. Although the second time they do it, it sounds kinda sloppy. Yeah. So that's it for this list. Here's a quick recap. Number 5, Slalom. Number 4, Half Pipe. Number 3, Downhill. Number 2, Moguls. And number 1, Backwood. So that's it for the list. What did you think of it? What do you agree with, disagree with? How would you rank these songs? Feel free to leave all this in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.